Hi there, Anne here, and welcome to Stranded Thoughts, a shorter thread in Anne's Norwegian knitting podcast. Each week, I'll share a small moment, a Norwegian word, a fun fact, or something from behind the stitches. Just a few minutes to pause, reflect, and connect. One float at a time. Let's dive in. In the past few weeks, there's been a lot to talk about. You know me, and you've been seeing it. I've been knitting a new blue and white mitten. And this is a new version of this mitten here, which is the January mitten from the Mitten Bonanza from 5 years back. And this one feels a bit like Valentine's, and that's appropriate for today because this post here was posted on Valentine's Day 2026. But anyway, I started this one, and the cuff here is not, it's going to be like, going to be like this. And the reason why it's different is because I thought I remembered, and I started casting off on with a different yarn and did some calculations. And then when I went to look up this one, I saw that, okay, this one had some beautiful, sweet little hearts on its cuff. This one hasn't. But apart from that, it's made on the same idea as this one, that there is a difference in that this one doesn't have sides and this one does have sides. Anyway, today I want to talk to you because this is the thing, and I've already proven it. A mitten is not necessarily just a mitten. There's so much more to a mitten than just being a mitten. Because there's so many ways to build them, and there are so many different options on how to create the thumb, how to create the tip, or how to make the cup, right? And when I created the Mitten Bonanza, that was one of my intentions. I wanted all these mittens to be very different, both in thumb, in cuff, and in tip. And what you'll see is that none of these are the same. They are different, every single one of them, in the cuff. Some of them have the same kind of tip, and some of them have the same kind of thumb, but the cuff is different. And I'd like to take you through all this to show you all the possibilities that you have. And you start already here with this is the January one, where you have a fairly short cuff. The cuff is not that long. It's meant to be a visiting kind of mitten, not necessarily a go out and shuffle snow kind of mitten. And it's double knit, the cuff here. This one is double knit all the way down to there. So it actually is a bit longer than the small cuff. This one stops at the braid, the lettering braid. It has also some different techniques, all of these patterns, and this one has some call it Norwegian braids, others Latvian braid, cross braid, whatever, but that's it anyway. And this one has a gusset. Both of them have actually a gusset. It doesn't show that clearly, and I'll show you that in another model where you actually show that how the gusset is actually a part of the design. But in this one, it just increases into the mitten. This one. Then in February, I went all overboard. I made two pair of mittens. This one is for men, and a longer one, and it's identical to this one. What's happening is that they look like this on the inside, and what you'll see is that the black and white one, the female one here, looks also like this on the inside. These were made these are thicker. These are meant for proper Norwegian or anywhere else, proper cold winters. And these actually have, what you will see is that I've also used some old fur, because I had an old fur from my grandma made in around the Second World War that I decided to reinvent. So I have some fur cuffs as well that I can put on. But these cuffs here, they are loose. They are buttoned on. And this here means that you can, of course, knit it on if you want to. But this means that these cuffs can be changed like this. And this is what it looks at the back. Here as well, you have that gusset. And you have cables knit this way. And then they're sewn together. And I have added some beautiful buttons to it. And it has the same kind of Norwegian tip where it's fairly steep. Not the steepest, because I like to round them off a bit on the top. But that's another one. So that's February. March is it's the same yarn, because I use different yarns on these. The same yarn, but different pattern and different cuff. Here, the cuff is meant to be folded down, so that you see there are two here, 2 knits and 1 purl. And then on the inside here, there's 2 pearls and 1 knit. And on this one, you'll see that, because I guess it, the pattern is the same on both sides on these ones. They also have, as you see on this one as well, they have a fairly wide on the top here on the gusset. They have 1 knit, then decrease, and then the decrease, and then 1 knit on each side, so that you get this wider edge on the top here. Okay. Then we move into April, and I wanted to make something fun and something light. This one, and you can see that I'm going to put it on. This one is meant to be spring kind of mitten. When it's getting warmer, in the middle of the day, you wouldn't even dream of putting on your mittens, but you want something on your hands when you go out in a cold car, which is getting less common these days because the cars have improved so much over the last few years. It's a bit cold and you want something on your hand walking to the train, going into Oslo in the morning or something like that. This one it has embroidery on it. The stems are embroidered, the flowers are knitted and the grass is knitted, but the flowers have embroideries in the middle, and also I've added pearls in this one, and the stems have been added as well. No pearls on the inside, because that would annoy me, having those small little things on the inside. This one here is without the pearls, just wanted to show you. So you have 2 different ones. I have one with pearls and one without. I love these ones. These are fun. What you'll see from this one is that they have the same tip, almost no cuff, but they are also different here. The increases are done here, but it's not a gusset increase. It's just done on the side. And then you have, I think you call it an afterthought thumb, where you set off here and you just knit the thumb on top. But then you make the increases here on this one. So it goes in, you see it on your hand, because our hands are like that. The hands go out here. But this one is meant to be just a little warmer on your hands. Then in May, we don't normally use mittens, but I created this mitten here, which is another summery one or springy one, where you have the tip is the same as the others, and the gusset is the same as you had on the April one, but the cut is very different, because this one is cast on with provisional cast on, and then you pick those up and you knit those mini cables, as I call them, afterwards going up. And this one comes in some of the mittens comes in 1 size, and some in 2, and some in 3. This one comes in 3, I know for sure, because this is the smallest one, and my hand is too big for this one. In June, this is June, I made this one, and this one is actually inspired by one of the mittens from the old days, from the old Selby mittens. Not necessarily exactly this one, but this one is made smaller not as wide in the design. And here you see the tip is the same. You have the edges here, but you also have a much longer cut. And I've added some pattern to it. A little fun fact is that in the old days, when you had patterns like this on it, it was a male mitten, and the female mittens had the traditional ribbing with knits and pearls only. But today we can play around with that. This one here has a more defined gusset. It has this one, but here you have the sign itself accentuates the, I think that's the right word, the thumb and the gusset, like this. Okay, what's next? Next is June. This is a very, again, a simple mitten. This one can be used either or on the hands. You can choose what you want to do. This one has a different tip. Here there is, you are increasing around the whole tip, not along the edges on each side like this. Here they are on this one. It's made rounded. It doesn't have any cuff at all. It's just a slip-on one. More, to me, this is more a springy or early autumn, because you don't need that thing too close around the wrist. And the thumb on this one, as you see, is knit out from the mitten. So you knit up until there, and then you leave those stitches, and then you knit the last part afterwards. So this one, again, is slightly different than the other one. You remember from the May one, April one, where you had the gusset, you did the increase on the mitten like this here. But here you do that increase on, and then you follow up on with the thumb on top. Okay. August. Again, this one you don't see it that well, but this one has a few rows where there is a third color, but you don't have to do that. This one is really, it's the same as the others, but here you see, here there's not 2 stitches, there's only 1 stitch, and then the decreases are done on each side. And it's much steeper. What from these ones is that I rounded them up a bit, and that goes for almost all of them. These other ones, they've been rounded off a bit. This one is really steep, traditional pointed one. This one as well has a different small little cuff. This one is made afterwards. It's a provisional cast on, and then you knit this way going up, so you can make this cuff as long or as short as you want it. And you will see that this has the sideways thumb increase, as you saw in the May one. But because it's differently designed, it looks a bit different. In October, there is a mitten that is slightly different. It's got a cable along the side to make an extra design feature on it. The ribbing it's simple. Then there's no colorwork pattern. There's done some, not really finished, never finished it, but I've done some add-ons, embroideries afterwards with pearls and stuff. And with this one, it's just your imagination that stops you. And the side is the rounded tip and a sideways thumb, and then you have just garter stitch in the cuff like this. Then comes the October ones, and these ones are quite fun. The structure on these ones are the same. They're rounded, sideways thumb, and the cuff is just cast on, start knitting so that it rolls naturally, and then we have decreased a bit here. But what is fun about these is that these are not the same. They are meant to go together. And you will see the same if you turn them around. They are meant to be there. There you go. Because you see it's turned a bit. It's meant to be. But that's because it's wear or care. Because I've used these a lot, and I'm going to show you this. These are I like these. I use these a lot. Especially when I go hiking. Do you like this? If you go like this, I can't do that here, but because I have my physical shortcomings, they are meant to go together, like this one. That's October, a really fun one. I loved it, and I love doing some knitting and embroidery together. You probably picked up on that by now if you followed me for a while. This is the November mitten, and again, different inside than outside. It has the same kind of Norwegian pointed top, but not the most pointed ones. It's got a sideways thumb, this one, and the cuff here is 2 knits and 1 pearl, and 2 knits and 1 pearl, but the pearls are dotted in a different color, which is cool. These are quite fun to knit, actually. I love this one. And finally, you have the December mitten. And the December mitten is also the one that you get as a bonus, where I combined the December mitten and a blue version. I don't have that one here, but a blue mitten. The mitten is the same. You have a gusset. You have the pointed top, and then here you have 2 knits and 1 pearl, and then 2 knits and 1 pearl with the red color for a few rows, so that you get that illusion of the red going into the white. And one of the bonuses is that I made a pattern where I combined this with this, so that you get a blue version with this one cuff here. Okay, these are the different mittens that I've made, and they were all made deliberately to introduce as much variety and techniques as possible. And in addition, what I did was that I have a pair of felted mittens that I've included, and these are proper snow shoveling mittens, thick felted mittens, these ones. They are in there as well. And also these are made in 2 different yarns on purpose, and with 2 different, one where you do the flowers in 1 color, and you get the pattern and instructions to this as well for those who want to go into glows, and one where I've been playing around with colors a bit more. And if you're scared of making fingers like these, don't be. It's easy when you know how to do it, and there are instructions in there on how to do that. And also I can't remember exactly which one, and it's not a full pattern, but you get the diagram to one of these, one of our family treasures from back. These are from back in the 1950s, these ones. And from my mother's home place, and I made sure that they have ended up with me. Okay, so there you go. I just wanted to show you all the possibilities that you do have with all these mittens. There's so many mittens out there, and there's so many ways of making them. And if you feel like the mitten bonanza might be a good starting point. You get all the techniques, you get all the tutorials on how to make the thumbs and how to do the decreases and how to make the Latvian braids. And next Thursday, that is February 19th, not 2026, this one will be added to it. It's also going to be in the mountain journey for those of you who are in there or considering that. So you're going to get that one if you do that. Okay, that's all. My little Valentine's stranded thought. It's not the Valentine's mitten, it's a January mitten, but I did have Valentine in mind when I designed it, because I wanted it to be knit so that it was finished before Valentine. Anyway, enjoy your mittens, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and until next time, make sure you knit some beautiful stitches and make sure that you click that follow button. Thanks for spending this time with us here on Anne's Norwegian Knitting, conversations where knitting meets culture, heart and history. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to share it with a fellow knitter or leave a note to let us know what you think. If you want to know more about Anne's Norwegian Knitting, go to annesnorwegianknitting.com and check it out. Until next time, may your stitches be steady, your yarn untangled, and your heart full. See you in the next episode.